All right, guys, it is I, Carlton Flowers, your crypto pro.
Yay!
And I'm here to make some sense out of this crazy chart movement that we just saw over the last, 12 hours here? So we had the little dive that just about almost took out my secondary absolute confirmation of the dip. Remember on the last video, I was telling you that when we take out this low here, that was below the triangle, I would be somewhat convinced, but then I would be really convinced when we took this out. So notice how we had this little recovery here, and I had also talked about the possibility of breaking to the upside. So what's going on? Is this really breaking to the upside? Or is this something that is fooling a few people that are getting excited thinking that a recovery rally is about to start? Well, I'll show you exactly what I see in this, and you're going to see me repeat some things that I always say. And you let me know in the comments if you know before I say it what I'm about to say. Let's just see if you guys have been paying attention to the one biggest thing that sticks out like a sore thumb that should let you know without a shadow of a doubt of what is really happening right here. All right, let's get rid of my handsome face there. Pardon my handsome face, and let's scrunch these down a little so we can see more into this. All right, there we go. So we're on the 4 hour. Actually, we'll boom this up a little bit. We're on the 4 hour. And the thing that sticks out like a sore thumb to me, of course, is the positioning of the stochastic while it's at the peak. Here we are, way up here, jumping in to the overbought zone. And I'm going to tell you what is possible here before I move on. This is what is possible. What is possible is we could double hump. We could stay buried straight up like this, like we've seen before, and have a massive rally before we cycle down. That is possible. What is probable is this. Completion, maybe with a little bit of a tick or two, and then a return for the next cycle to start. Now, if this is what the case is, and I'm saying probable, at least more probable than staying buried at the top and continuing this, if we go with the highest probability, then that means this will be a lower high. All right? We may not take out this lower high. We probably won't take this one out. We certainly won't take this one out. So the stochastic peaks, we always look to see what do they return. This one had a double hump. At first, we had this peak and it double humped and pushed back up and gave us that one. What did the next one do? Double hump. First hump right here. Second hump pushed up even higher. It gave us this. We didn't take out this previous higher high. The next peak did not do much. Lower high. The next peak, double hump. It gave us this lower high. And then the next one did a little bit better, but did not take out the second previous lower high. Here's the next stochastic peak right there, lower high. Here's the next one, lower high. So what is the trend? What is the trend doing? The trend is still going down. We're in a downward sloping bearish trading channel that has to have absolute confirmation before I believe that it will break out. Now, what does our MACD tell us? Here's a nice clear crossover. Let's make that thin. A nice clear crossover here. And then we are printing bars in the positive, in the green. And it looks like they're rounding off. It's not steep. You know, if it was steep, it would be continuing on at this level. Okay, so we should be printing up here if it still had the steam. But notice how we're getting diminishing returns. They're getting smaller here, so what could happen? Now, let's clear everything out and zoom in. I want to show you something here because this is an indication of market manipulation. This is why you can never trust absolute clearness on technical analysis either, because you can get this kind of thing that can happen. So we had a clear bear flag right here. downward action. We come out with a triangle movement, and then we exploded to the upside, and we took out not only the base of this triangle, but we took out the upper boundary of the triangle that I just fixed, this new one that I put in. Forget the last one. See the gray one? We blew out of the new one. So that means that this top one here, this might also be invalid. We may have to come in, before I make my point, we may have to come in and create another corrected top of the triangle that includes the top of the previous peak that broke out. You see that? All right. And the current one somewhere around there, which would extend out the apex of this current triangle right now to even several more days. But I'm not going to do that yet. Let's zoom back in and finish the point that I was making. I'm still half asleep. Rough night. When we got to this point, we blew upwards. But let's look at what was going on with the stochastic, which told a lie. And that's why whenever I draw these things and I say that this is looking like all indications, the highest probability is a break to the down or to the upside, this is when it will lie to you. Notice right here, what do you see? You see the percent K crossed over the D, and it was up here, up above it. But then it started to curl over. And what did we have? We had a touchdown. We had what should have been a crossover where that percent K line should have finished and crossed over. We should have had some of this action going on. But what did we get? We got the exact opposite. We got a touch and go. That's what I'll call it, a touch and go, where it touched the percent D right there. It touched it and then decided, let's not cross over. Let's do the exact opposite and blast off. That's what we got. And then when you see a candle like this coming out of a backwards touch and go indication from the stochastic, you know that this is not a retail investor. This is probably a whale, an institution, someone who had something left, still some money left to make on fooling people for buying in on the wrong direction. This is not retail buying. I'm convinced of that. Now, where did it take us? Here's where it took us. Right here, we're just above this volume node here. And what I also noticed is that when we took out this volume node, we had clear momentum, and the next candle just blew right off. And then when we approached this one, we stopped and then we inched up, but now notice that we're wicking down. So there's a chance that we're heading back down this direction towards the thick of this volume node. Now, what could happen? It could continue on and it could break for this volume node or the POC, point of control in the visible range price. All right. Let me put some more history in here. It could jump up here to a price of, let's scrunch this down so we can see it, 32,863, where this big volume node at the point of control is. I can squish this down a little bit, and it's still the POC. There it is. Now, let's talk about the possibilities of what could happen from here. Possibility number one, which I give the highest probability. This is the peak right here, and we're going to continue right back down towards this triangle line where it'll decide if this line is a support or if it's going to fail. Okay, that's possibility number one, and we'll just have to watch and see. This volume node right here, that's the highest probability, which is in front of our face. The next highest probability is a return to the point of control price. And what I forgot to mention on this first deal, if we hit to this one and then we fall, here's these same two nodes that I've been talking about. And then of less probability than that is what I meant to say, is going higher here to the point of control price. And then there's also the possibility of hitting this node magically where the 200 EMA is. That could happen. So there you have it. Now overall, I'm going to pull up the one day. I'm going to tell you why I'm not getting excited. We are still in a clear downward trend. And what I'll be looking for right here, next up, is what's going to happen after this clear crossover right here on the M8 on the stochastic has happened, and we have a crossover about to happen on the MACD. So you might say, well, get excited. It's the bottom. It's moving up. This is it. We're ready to blast off. Oh, really? Well, don't forget, what did I say on the 4-hour chart? Compare what happened on the previous stochastic peaks. Stochastic peak on the 1 day. Oops. On the 1 day right here. There's your high right here. There's your high right here. Higher, but not higher high than the all-time previous of the micro channel. The next peak, lower high. Now, once this one finishes, once we zip on up to here, I want to see what's going to happen. I want to see if we are going to make a break of this POC right there and give a higher high, or if it's going to continue this trend of a lower high. And until then, I'm not going to do anything. I can't be convinced. I'm not convinced that this is a recovery. You can't do it that quickly. So for all of the fat mouths on YouTube who are saying ridiculous things that this is the indication of a breakout and we're going to bust up to 55 and here we go to new all-time highs, I'm not listening. I'm not listening to that. Every day they change their minds. Within the day they change their minds from bearish break to bullish break. So I have to tune out the noise. Now I watch it so I can pick up on hints and clues, but I won't be making a trading decision until I get absolute confirmation of where we are. And right now we don't have that. This is not financial advice. This is a guy who is watching the market, having fun, and talking amongst friends. Amongst friends, my friends and family, but I do absolutely enjoy the conversation, and even when sometimes I might argue and overreact, and I apologize for that because I did that in the last video. But shout out to my new friend who I had a discussion with in the last video. I'm glad to have you, and I hope that you find value out of this video. And please chime in and tell me what you think. I want to hear it. Let's talk about it. I'm going to go get some coffee.